Many years ago, I thought I was done with Devilman 1972, the original manga and its anime version, but little did I know, there was another Devilman manga released that same year. This version is done by Mitsuru Hiruta, and it follows the storyline from the Toei anime, but there's a big difference. The selling point of this manga is, Devilman didn't kill Akira, meaning our main character is indeed Akira Fudo, who becomes Devilman! So, to anyone who hasn't seen my previous Devilman videos, you might be confused with my surprise reaction of Akira Fudo's the main character! You might be thinking, wasn't he always the protagonist? Not in this continuity. To those familiar with Devilman Crybaby but unsure of its origins, here's a history lesson. Back in 1971, Go Nagai had a horror manga named Demon Lord Dante. This series was cancelled because the publisher, Bokura Magazine, went out of business. At some point in time, Toei Animation collaborated with Go Nagai to create the Devilman character, which was inspired by Dante. I also made a conspiracy theory of the Devilman design possibly being plagiarized, but that's another video. So Go Nagai and Toei created their own versions of the Devilman story, each having different leading heroes. If you've seen Crybaby, then you're familiar with some of the original 1972 manga. Akira meets his friend Ryo, have a Sabbath, and all hell breaks loose. But things are drastically different in the 1972 anime, as Akira Fudo dies in the first episode, and there's no Ryo in this series. There's a character named Himura who ends up being irrelevant to the story but gets more attention in Devilman Grimoire. Anyways, Akira's corpse is possessed by the demon Devilman, whose mission was to kill all humans, but he falls in love with Miki and gradually becomes a hero who accepts humanity. The anime is incredibly episodic but fully embraces the Japanese superhero role with signature attacks and transforming into giants. Despite Devilman becoming a better person by the end of the series, it's still difficult to accept him as a hero since he committed the ultimate identity theft, and if Miki ever found out that the real Akira was dead, I'm sure that'll lead to a sad ending. However, there was a compromise, which is this manga by Mitsuru Hiruta, who decided to keep Akira alive. So now we have an alternate story of Akira Fudo fighting numerous demons in a campy style, in contrast to the tragic Go Nagai version. Much of this manga's content comes from existing anime material, but with some differences here and there. I have no idea if Mitsuru was following an outline given to him, or if he came up with his own stories. Regardless, he managed to make the most of what he had to work with. I am already familiar with the 1972 anime, so I became invested to see the actual Akira Fudo in the format of a traditional superhero, even with its ups and downs. Yes, we do have an abundance of bad guys being sent out one at a time instead of all at once, but it still finds ways to make the fights appear grand and the enemies terrifying. There's several pages that are dedicated to setting the horror mood. At times, it even reminds me of Go Nagai's directing? Can I say that in a book? It definitely makes its presence known that it's a superhero horror hybrid, which was just as violent as the TV series. Maybe it's a little more gruesome than the Toei anime. There's certainly a lot of panels with splattering gore and flying eyeballs. The downside to these stories are the same weaknesses of the 72 anime. Most characters consist of introducing the demon of the week, followed with a fight that usually ends with a devil beam or some other super move. This repetitive format is appropriate for this type of story that's akin to tokusatsu, as shown through many series during the 1970s. In fact, that's sort of the whole point of these 70s superheroes, seeing them fight a monster. The real complaint comes from the lack of enthusiasm during these encounters. An example is Chapter 8, which is noticeably smaller than the other stories. The average Devilman chapter is around 30 to 40 pages that takes its time to create an episode, something with a beginning, middle, and the ending. However, the chapters with the least amount of pages feel rushed nor provide much entertainment. This is noticeable when other stories play around with the visuals of a demon and how he or she attacks unsuspecting victims. When you're reading a chapter without those necessary components, it just feels empty. Some dialogue of inner struggle makes up for the lack of diverse content, and the occasional wacky attacks keep things interesting, such as Devil Jumbo Kick. Not just any devil kick, but a Devil Jumbo Kick! There's several special moves that are only found in this manga incarnation, such as Devil Ice, which makes a shield of ice, Devil Thunder, which surprisingly predates Ulquiorra's Lanza de Relámpago, but the oddest attacks I've seen here are mostly the names of certain moves, such as Devilman running at super speed is called Devil Action, but the strangest one has to be No, but seriously, the quirkiest name for an attack is Repel with Barrier. Kinda stating the obvious there. Kaiba, you activated my trap card. No, it can't be. Spellbinding Circle? Mirror Force? No, Repel with Barrier! The artwork is noticeably different from Go Nagai's art style as it utilizes illustrations more commonly used in the 1970s, such as the realistic noses, super thick outlines and eyebrows, heavy shading, and blood resembling spray paint. Another difference can easily be noticed with its eyes, as Akira's eyeballs are in the shape of an oval, in contrast to Go Nagai's slanted pointy eyes. In summary, Mitsuru's artwork can be compared to other manga from the 60s and 70s such as Rini Kakeru, meaning it's very expressive and hot-blooded at times. But similar to Go Nagai, the panel layout and the uses of contrast does resemble the original manga. There's a bunch of pages I saved which bear the same dreadful feeling, or the calm before the storm, as seen with the original 1972 Devilman manga. Actually, there's some scenes that made me wonder, was it Mitsuru's own ideas or did Go Nagai or Toei give him a list of things to do? For example, there's these panels in chapter 7 which eerily remind me of the whole Jinmin scene, or the single page in chapter 10 which makes me very curious to ask the question, when did this chapter come out? Did it actually predate Go Nagai's manga? Another interesting detail is Akira cries a lot in this version, way before Crybaby. To be fair, the Go Nagai manga also showed him shed tears, but given how little activity there is, it's quite noticeable in the Mitsuru manga. But an event that really surprised me was a chase sequence with the possessed Mickey, kind of like that episode in Devilman Crybaby. How interesting. But one of the strangest panels appears in the very last chapter. Akira is preparing himself to face the demon Dreamoon, or Dremoon, who was a big deal in the 1972 anime, and that same intensity is shown in this manga. Thinking he may die, Akira takes one look at Mickey and her hair turns like this. What? It's just one panel and right underneath that picture is an image with her usual hairstyle, so I have no idea why she was depicted as a fluffy hair blonde. As much as I praise Mitsuru's art, there are some illustrations that look a little silly. It's very easy to take some panels out of context and use them as a joke. This is strange. I did realize Bella. Did you realize Aurora? This is too much. Devilman, eat this! It's too late to hurry now. Devil kick! The best moments of the manga are some stylish superhero panels, the dreadful scary demons, and most importantly, the inclusion of the real Akira Fudo. The first chapter is a pretty powerful origin story of Akira Fudo resisting possession. His struggles in the fight against evil are taking a toll on his heart, feeling guilt whenever Mickey's family gets attacked. Chapter 13 holds the most emotional scenes of the entire manga, and I can't think of a better way to end this video than showing the pages. Since I had this body, I have not let any dangerous things happen to Mickey. But so far, various people have attacked one by one. Wicked Siren, Wicked Vetra. They have come one after another, and none of them were satisfied in attacking only me. The demon tribe prey upon humans. Yet, even when I am alone, the claws of the demon strike even Tare and Mickey. I'm tired of this endless fight. Mickey. That's right. I am that faint-hearted, and I don't want to do this anymore. But I still need the support of your heart, Mickey. And you are hurt because of that. That's why I, Fudo Akira, will protect you in my own hands, Mickey. And I will not complain, because I am Devilman. Now, Mickey, let's get you home before you wake up. Until then, in a world of dreams, rest at ease, Mickey. Birds tweet and flowers bloom in your peaceful dream where there are no demons.